Hello, fellow Toolboxers. Welcome to episode number 369 of the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox podcast. I have a really neat one with a colleague here in California who wrote a great article about the situation of alien smuggling accusations against parents of Indian asylees at the U.S. Embassy in India and how much of a disaster that is for a lot of family. So I wanted to get him on to share that information so you're all aware if you have these kind of cases. We're going to go into that. He also published an article in the Toolbox magazine that's out, issue number 9, that you could that breaks it down. You could contact them is there too if you all like to get more information about that. A little bit of housekeeping. I also want to put out the E2 seminar is coming this March 20th, Thursday. Is live only. We're going to go over an actual E2 case. If you're interested in joining a session, it's 1 hour, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern. There's a fee of $300 if you want to join, but actually go step by step on breaking down the case and what you need to submit. It's really helpful because I know a lot of people want to do E2s, but kind of just want to get a perspective how it's actually done because they either haven't seen it, as well as we have people that come in and we have repeat clients and not clients, colleagues that come in and they try to get a different perspective how it's done. And some stuff I always try to make things shorter and smaller rather than longer and bigger packets. So it's like, well, maybe I streamline this, it'll be faster as well. And just how to talk openly and privately in a small group. As limited to 8 people. I think 4 seats are already sold out, so you have 4 spots left. Hit me up, info@immigrationlawyerstoolbox.com if you're interested in that. Now, everyone who's a lawyer should join our private community page on circle.so. Message me to get on that. I need your bar number to make sure you're an attorney. But in that system, as we're going to talk about on the podcast, we have a list of local attorneys that could attend field office interviews with you. That'll be really interesting for you. So that's a way you get more business or send business to other people when you can't go to get an interview anywhere in the country. You're trying to build up that list, plus get updates on timelines for each particular office. But also we have the AAO decisions. For example, EB2 CNIWs, EB1As, L1s, where we analyze through AI as much as possible the AAO decisions and break them down to short tidbits so you can go through them really fast and see where what issues the AO is having, USCI is having, how they're argued, what case they've been argued, to get better perspective for any new case you're doing, an existing case you're doing. You get some inspiration of how you can answer these things. It's very powerful. That's what I've been doing for 15 years to get really top level at this stuff. And I want to share it with you. Before I read it all, and it was so time consuming to read, I wouldn't take notes on it. So that would just stay in my head. But now the AI helps me get notes, and then I read the specific cases. And every time I'm going to do an L1, AAO, EB1, C2, all this kind of stuff, I read them, and it makes me feel really powerful knowing like I know what not to do. So what helps me do what to do on any particular case. I also want to thank our sponsor of this podcast and the magazine, the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox magazine, Mitratech's INS Zoom. Are you tired of sinking your most valuable assets into tedious data entry? Then it's high time to streamline your immigration process with Mitratech INS Zoom, the leading immigration case management software trusted by top law firms and corporations worldwide. Mitratech's INS Zoom helps you manage cases, track deadlines, and automate workflows so you can focus on what matters the most, your clients. But that's not all. Mitratech's INS Zoom just launched GovNotice IDP, a revolutionary AI-powered tool that automatically extracts critical information from your government notices and receipts. No more manual data entry, errors, or headaches. Instead of traditional and highly time-consuming manual entry of USCI's notice data, GovNotice IDP automates the entire process, ensuring a faster, more error-free experience. Legal teams can upload batches of receipts in bulk with automated classification and case linking, reducing processing time significantly, creating more accuracy on hundreds of notices per day, option to automate email notification for internal and external stakeholders, and it currently supports USCIS receipt notices, including premium processing and approval notices. With GovNotice IDP, you can process and manage your case faster and more efficiently than ever before. Ready to elevate your immigration practice to the next level? Learn more at hrc.mitratech.com/toolbox. That's hrc.mitratech.com/toolbox. Obviously, Mitratech is Mitratech. What I hear, what a colleague told me is Mitratech. The word Mitra is a name of the original owner. Mitra is a Persian name. It's not. I mean, it's Persian, but it's Mithra. I think I pronounce it. So Mitratech, if that's correct, that history of it is where it's from. So if you're Iranian, take everything that's whenever you're a foreign person, whatever it has to do with where you're from, it's a big deal. Like, oh, really? It's like Greek people. If they hear someone else is Greek, like, oh, look, this person's Greek. John Stamos is Greek. Everyone, sorry, I'm going on tangents. Having said all that, all the information provided here is not intended as individual legal guidance. Please consult an immigration attorney about your case, but you all know that already. Let's get it started. Hi, Inderraj. How are you? Thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, John, I'm good. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, cool. Let's jump into it with going your background. How did you get involved in practicing immigration law?
Yeah, so it's a well, I came from India myself as an immigrant, and as is always the case with immigrants, in a lot of people in my family didn't really speak English. So as I was learning English, a lot of paperwork started coming my way, trying to like fill out the forms and stuff. So when I became a lawyer, same thing started happening. I started getting phone calls from around the community, with the immigration questions. So I figured might as well just learn about it, and then I just started doing immigration.
Like a lot of people, you fell into it. And what kind of practice do you have now? Where's your practice headquartered, and how big is your team?
Yeah, so my main office is in Bakersfield, California. I have another office in Fresno. We are in the process of opening another office in Van Nuys, California. My team right now, it's pretty small actually. I mean, I'm the only attorney and I have two paralegals, actually three paralegals and one secretary. One paralegal works in Fresno, two work here in Bakersfield, and then a secretary to handle phone calls and calendar.
How far is Bakersfield from Fresno?
Oh, about 1 hour, 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes.
Oh, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
Do you go to field office interviews over there?
Yes, yes.
Oh.
Which is I think it's about uh, an hour 20 minutes from my office. It's not bad from Bakersfield.
So just let viewers, listeners know as well. On the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox community page, it's a website called Circle at SO. We created a new tab where we list any field office that members are like go to, so that now with the marriage immigration cases getting interviews again with Trump, if you got a case that's in another jurisdiction, you can't go. Yeah, lawyers that go to that field office. And then in the comments, you could also list like recent processing times, so you get an idea of like, okay, citizenship started here. When did the interview happen? When the oath ceremony happened? So if you're a lawyer, you could join it, and you could just either add it to the pre-list of things that are already there, or just add your field office. Eventually, we add courts and stuff too, but I deal with USCIS more often. But it's good to know because I'm in California, Los Angeles. I don't go to Fresno; it's gonna be too far a drive for me to go.
Yeah,
But it's good to know someone that goes there is familiar with the field office.
but yeah, definitely. I will definitely join that. Thanks for letting me know. Sometimes, as we have different hearings in different cities,
Yeah.
so definitely helpful.
What kind of cases do you focus on?
So my immigration practice mostly focuses on removal defense and a heavy load of asylums from India.
Hmm.
All over India. Like they are my main cases for immigration.
What kind of asylum claims do you typically see coming in the air? Or do you work with a particular region or clientele that have a particular issue?
Yeah, so mostly I have cases from north side of India, which is Punjab and Haryana. Like that's where most of my clients come from. Uh, I mean, I have very different claims from the same region. Some are political, some are caste based. Some are political. It kind of depends, what's going on with their life. But it's they usually overlap with the religion and politics a lot, and every now and then you get one of those like lower caste versus main caste cases from Haryana as well.
Interesting. How are you seeing the interview timelines? Because I'm guessing, do they go to San Francisco field asylum office or in Southern California one?
So the ones from Bakersfield they still go to San Francisco, and then crazy like for immigration court purposes, these cases now go to Van Nuys Immigration Court. But for agency purposes, they're still in San Francisco for some reason. I just don't get it. But yeah, that's where we at. Interview timelines are really, really lengthy. Even under Trump, we have not, seen a change, as of right
Right.
now. The first time when he was around, as the for, when Trump was around, they just started giving us dates early, like within 6 months, you know.
Mhm.
Now, nothing has changed. I mean, the average wait is somewhere between 7 to 9 years.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's out of control how long it takes. Well, one of the reasons we had you on the show is because you had told me about a very interesting phenomena, a horrible phenomena happening in India for parents who are going through the immigrant visa process being accused of alien smuggling. Could you give us some background on that and what you're seeing the current status is on how you're seeing these cases go through?
Yeah, so again, it was very interesting. So, a lot of asylum cases, the clients have to tell their story, what really happened to them, right in detail. And there's one very similar aspect is how they left the country. And very often they would solicit help from their uncles, their fathers, right, to kind of leave the country and go to another country, to come to the United States. So once these people, like they won their asylum cases, they became, American citizens. Then they started applying for their parents, right, based on, based on the alien relative petition. And then last year, I mean, there was always this kind of cases, but in 2024, I saw it happen a lot to where like the consulate in India started issuing denials to both father and mother based on alien smuggling charges because they had sent their son or daughter illegally to the United States. So, which is very interesting. So, even if the father was mentioned as the person, who had helped, the son, mother had nothing to do with it, but they were
Yeah.
still denying visas to both mom and dad. So we started applying for waivers. All of them are still, they're pending. We
They
haven't.
take years, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think maybe in 2027 we'll know whether they will approve those waivers or not. But it just, it just threw, a lot of people. I mean, their wait times are insane, and now they will have to redo the interview. Something that's not even their fault. They're being denied visas, and now they will have to wait maybe 5, 7, 8 years before they can immigrate
Yeah.
to the United States.
Are these any cases? Are they all cases that came through the border, like without admission or parole, or are they cases where they came with tourist visa, but they just say they knew they were going to overstay and file for asylum or something?
So the cases, the waivers that I applied are mostly people that came through the border, and then they were issued a notice to appear.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Obviously, very frustrating. Just I mean, we talk, everyone knows asylum delays, but like the 601 delays are ridiculous, especially alien smuggling, which is a high, from what I understand, I'm not positive, but it's a high approval rate because when it's a family member, it's part of the exceptions where they approve it. So, like it's just crazy that the timelines on these 601s are so ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, there is a case I think a long time ago from BIA. It's called matter of Diwali or something. The court pretty much said, like for parents, spouses, siblings, more, like more often they're acting, out of love and not because they want to defraud the United States government or deceive the government. So, and that case I think is from 1980s or something. So it's a really old case. I'm surprised that it's still a thing in 2024, 2025, that these poor parents who have no education likely in India, and they're just being denied visas because their son had came or daughter had, they have come to US illegally.
Yeah, I mean, with DOS, the consulates, you never know what's going to happen. And one of the wild wests, I mean, there's certain consulates, embassies where I just see them like a lot of this it's kind of stuff pop up. There's Mexico, where it's like, oh, you never know what's going to happen. India, you never know what's going to happen. Pakistan, I know they're going to be delays in administration processing. That's a given, but like India, you never know like what kind of different things they're going to come out, and it's just wild. I don't see that as much as like in China, even though they have large numbers too. But India, Mexico, they always pull off some like crazy things that need a waiver they didn't expect, or they'll like throw away the 601A and have to do a new 601. What it's a complete disaster, especially because it's like the most minuscule thing. They should just let it go.
And with India, another problem we have is, I mean, it's such a huge country, a lot of people, obviously, great, huge population. It used to be that they had a lot of other, consular offices in India. They still have them, but for immigrant visas, everything is now processed in Mumbai or Bombay, right?
Yeah,
For the whole nation, they have this one location that processes all this application. It's already like people are seeing lengthier wait times in India because of just one office doing everything for the entire country. And now you add this, denials. I mean, people are waiting 2, 3 years just to get to the visa interview, and then they're told, oh, by the way, sorry, alien smuggling, and now they have to wait, another 5 to 7 years.
yeah,
It's
and then come back and do a new interview, get a new hotel room. It's just like what a disaster.
what a lot of people might not know is that India, even though it's developing, but from Punjab, that there are no direct flights from Punjab to Bombay, right? You have to either go by road or you have to change multiple flights, so it's expensive. It's
Yeah,
expensive to travel within India. So yeah.
I know that. Oh man. So what are you seeing in removal proceedings? You come down to the LA downtown LA office, or which course do you go to?
So mostly for my removal cases, I'm mostly in Van Nuys, court.
Oh
I
yeah,
have
the open.
one in LA for a while because most of my clients, they end up moving to Fresno or Modesto or something. So most of my
Mhm.
cases are either Van Nuys or San Francisco or Concord Immigration Court.
how do you do that? How do you travel like from SF to Van Nuys back and forth? But I intentionally do everything remotely. I have a full remote office, so I don't have to go anywhere. I
Yeah.
got an interview actually in LA at my first marriage green card interview, and it's in San Bernardino office, which will take me like 2.5 hour drive probably each way. And like I was like, oh, hope this client doesn't want me to come. So I asked him, like, no, you don't need to come. I'm like, oh, thank God, I don't have to drive all the way up. How do you deal with that?
I mean, I have to drive like tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, Friday, I leave 4 in the morning because I have 8:30 at Concord. So I leave early morning. I do my hearing and come back. Luckily, since COVID, most of the master hearings are being conducted online. Via WebEx,
Mhm.
or judges are just canceling them and issuing a final date. So that kind of saves me some time. But for individual hearings, you gotta go. And I have. I mean, I had to go. I had to fly to Louisiana in December because my client was detained from California, was transported to Louisiana. I had to do his case in Louisiana, with it like less than, I think, 27 days of notice. So,
Wow.
yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Now you're closer to Vegas too. Do you ever go to Vegas court or do cases there?
No, surprisingly, most of my Indian clients, I don't have anyone from Nevada. Most of them are either from Indiana, believe it or not, uh, and California, Seattle, Washington, and a lot of them are from Fresno and Modesto.
Hmm.
Most of them are
It's
truckers.
a huge community. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was surprised. It's like I was born and raised in LA. I don't really know in between SF and here. I don't know what's going on, and I've had to learn it because of immigration law. I'm like, oh, there's field officers. There's a lot of people and stuff. It's kind of like a snooty kind of thing, but eventually, like, oh, it's so cool. It's so different areas there. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. If people want to reach out to contact you, I'm sure a lot of colleagues also have these kind of Indian particular cases, asylum and parents, and to brainstorm or whatever. What's the best way people could reach you?
Yeah, so they can always call my office. It's office phone is 661-599-8884. But the best way to reach me is my email. They can go to my website, thesinglawoffice.com. There's a contact form. Every time somebody fills
Sing
out,
Law Office, SINGH Law Office.
yeah. So it's
I'm
the
surprised you got that name
yeah.
because there's a lot of things practicing.
Yeah, it's crazy. So the signaloffice.com has a contact form. Anyone who fills that form goes directly to my email, and I, throughout the day as an attorney, I check my email like I don't know how many times a day.
Yeah.
The best way. If somebody calls my office, that might get to me in 2 or 3 days, but email is like right away.
Yeah, people, I guess some other businesses, if you call, this has been a big thing for me because I used to have it for years where it'll go to an answer machine that would say email us. If you don't email us, we're not going to respond to you. Then you got a call service because everyone said you have to have a phone call. And people like, for us, yeah, calling is secondary. If you email, I'm like always on email. I could just quick with my phone, respond to you. But when they call, I'm like, oh man, I got to do this, do input it, all this and that. But then again, sometimes I see businesses online, I'll email them and it won't get a response. They don't even check their emails, and I call them. They finally. So you never know what you're going to get, but she's got to be fast at both of them. Are you going to be going to Colorado AILA conference?
No, I'm not actually, but I am going to Washington D.C. next in April with the ALA National Day of Act or National Act Day, or I forget what it's called.
Yeah.
But I'm part of the group that's going to D.C. to meet Congress.
Oh, neat. Are you part of like a local chapter that's doing that, or just you just signed up for it? How does that work?
I'm part of the Northern California chapter, and they reached out to me, and then I agreed to go, and then yeah, I'm gonna head out there to
That
D.C.
should be neat.
Yeah.
Should be neat. So we'll see how it looks like. Do you know who you're going to go talk with? Is it preset Congress people, or is it like you just kind of wing it and you go door by door?
Yeah, I don't have enough information on that, but when they initially asked me, they asked me like who was my congressman, and it's either Mr. Fong or Valadeo. I've met Valadeo before. Actually, he's the one who gave me the tour of the White House and not the White House, the U.S. Capitol in 2023 when I went to Supreme Court to get admitted. So I kind of have the report with him. If I meet with him, it'll be an easy meeting. With Fong, I never met him, so I'm not sure how that's gonna go.
I had this thing I tried to do a couple years back, but it requires too much community organizing. Is like see which particular senators and congresspeople are on the committees that run particular immigration issues because they're the ones who make decisions, not just any one of them. And then seeing which immigration lawyers are in their district, and telling the immigration lawyer to contact their clientele that in their district so they could have like a, say everyone on this week call them. So maybe I get like 500 calls in 1 week on a particular immigration subject to all the key committee members, and that could have a disproportionate impact on stuff like the 90-day rule or like this, something like this crazy situation where they updated a bunch of the forms on Monday without any notice. So people who had mailed their case on are going to get rejected. Imagine if you had a Child Status Protection Act issue or if you had a I-94 expiration. This is going to be lawsuits, but who's going to sue? I mean, it's going to cost you a lot of money, but it's at least give 24 hours notice or something. They'll just come back the next day and say you should have been. So
Yeah,
this stuff is out of control. And whatever, I mean, even for people who are anti-immigration, this is like I-45 is like a legitimate immigration. That's what like anyone, Ivanka Trump or whatever, Trump husband, his wife uses the same program. So that stuff, if you're listening and into this congressional stuff, I'm down to work with them and promote it. But it was just hard getting people to follow up. So I had to like, you
yeah.
know, see what kind of how I could use my resources the best. But I'm glad you're doing this and going out there and doing that kind of stuff.
Thanks. Yeah, hopefully I can meet the right people. Like you said, it's been really crazy because I don't know if people remember, but last time when Trump came, there are boxes in the application that doesn't apply to you. You will leave them blank, right? That was the practice.
Yeah.
And they start sending them back because you didn't put NA. Like it's crazy, crazy rejections, right? Um,
Yeah, that's when because we started like loosening. We were still doing NA after it stopped, but we're kind of like loosened it up where we weren't like doing it every time. But someone on one of the Facebook posts said they've updated that part too, so you'd like going to go NA and none again. But that's like so nerve wracking and it's just crazy that's a problem. It's kind of good because it could prevent the government if you have a bad actor filling it in, but these things are just so ridiculous to push people on. I just hope they don't get rid of the copy for signatures. That's really been a boost to our firm not having to deal with original signatures. We'll see what happens with that, but that'd be nice.
yeah, well,
By the way, did you see when you go on the online account how it says like myuscis.gov? If you log in and it says you should self-report, like you should get out of here. It's like the wording is so ridiculous. Have you seen that yet?
yeah, I did see that, and then actually, I think my client sent it to me. And then at first I thought it was fake, right? And then I
Yeah,
and then I logged in and I saw I was like, what? It just was one of those silly things, they're just trying to do. And I hear, I don't know, I think it was through Iowa that I don't know how many millions or billions they're going to spend on this, advertisement that just this self deport yourself is easier or something. They have gone totally insane. And then
yeah,
to make matters worse, I mean, I posted a video on my TikTok as well. Somebody, it was a Punjabi client, not mine, but somebody else's, and he received a fake letter from UCIS. I don't know who made it, and it was like we're revoking your special juvenile status. You will never get a work permit in your life unless you do listen to us. And it had like a wrong address, very bad grammar. I was like, what's going on? So, sadly, because people know that, things will be difficult, a little bit harsher for immigrants, a lot of people are doing like, non-pleasant things to these people and then,
yeah.
get money from them. It's crazy.
It's wild. I mean, sometimes wonder how do they know that these people have certain cases? They'll come back and say, "I know you have an I-45 pending," and like, who's telling other people about like an adjustment case pending or something? But I've seen this stuff too. Is it's just cruel how people are doing this. Even sometimes there's no money they get from it. They just send it to mess with people to like scare the hell out of them.
Especially the juvenile status. It's a confidential, case. So I don't know how I don't know if they told somebody or no idea. And they had like
Yeah,
the receipt number and everything. It was crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's just disaster. So sad. But anyways, thanks for coming on the show, Inderraj. I really appreciate it. Check out Inderraj's article in the issue number 8 of the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox magazine. A great section about this particular issue, and his contact info will be there as well. Thanks again.
Thanks, John.
Thank you everyone for listening. I appreciate Inderraj for coming on the show to talk about this issue. When it came up, I'm like, oh, this is something I got to get out to the public because it's going to hit your cases. Obviously, India has a lot of cases happening there. It's one of the highest bandwidth embassies. So I wanted to share that information. If y'all are interested in learning more about immigration law, our marriage green card course, the ultimate marriage green card course, we have it 15 plus hours of training, one-on-ones that part of it, paperwork, sample contracts. It's a game changer if you want to get into immigration practice or even been doing immigration practice. It's the core that you need to have to fast forward your life. So instead of taking 3 years to learn what you need to learn, you can learn in a month. And we have hundred videos essentially. It's all these videos that go through everything, and we get private office hours, so we can talk about it, plus group office hours. So hit me up at info@immigration-toolbox if you're interested in that. And obviously the E2 seminar is here, the NIW seminar is coming. Reach out to us, join the Circle SL community page to share information, get information, the AI stuff, the colleagues over here, white label content, samples, so you can just take it. Most of it's free. You have free CLEs there, training on 245i. I mean, it's like a ton of information you don't even know about. So join us. Email me at info@immigration-toolbox.com and get started.